Welcome back to Surviving with Shoeler. This is episode 5. In the last episode, I built my starter base, which looks pretty good from this angle, and pretty much only this angle. I also blew up this big hill over here so that I could get a better view of the jungle from my unfinished starter base. Oh, and I also built this stream over here, near my cave base. Since my quote-unquote starter base is unfinished, one might assume I would be working on that this episode, so that I could move in as soon as possible. One would be wrong. This episode, my goal is to tidy up and beautify what I can. Check out this village, okay? It's disgusting. I will admit, a lot of its disgustingness can be attributed to me. But that doesn't change the fact that it's horrible. I mean, there's ugly houses galore. The floor is just all messy. There's poppies everywhere because I keep killing iron golems and then just placing the poppies everywhere. There is a lot of work to be done. Then look at this stream. It's unfinished. You can't call this a stream. This is like a lake or a pond or something like that because it's not moving. And then look at my cave base. The terraforming, it looks great. I'm very proud of it. But we need a tree. We need maybe even 2 or 3 trees. I don't know. I just, finally want to have one spot in this world that I can say is completely finished. And I feel like this is the place to start. I don't know if I'll actually do the trees this episode. I have some things that I think are a little more important and a little easier to do. So we'll see. That might be a next episode item. One thing I will say, if you like this video so far, why not subscribe? And also, chances are you might be here from the last episode or any episode before that. And if you're still sticking around, dude, subscribe. It will show up in your notifications, I promise you. Okay, thank you. Back to the video. But before I do any remotely important things, we need to talk about something that I don't think is talked about enough. How do you organize your hotbar and inventory? Usually, I'm rocking the sword, bow, pickaxe, shovel type thing with the food in my offhand, and I put a water bucket in this hand, maybe even some rockets if I had an elytra. But I feel like that's too much. When I'm building and using a bunch of blocks, I'm grabbing some azaleas, maybe I'm grabbing some gravel. It's just I can't have that many blocks in there without having to move all my stuff out of the way just so I can get more blocks. It's annoying. And for my inventory, right now I'm rocking the arrows, the crafting table, the woods, the iron, the boat, the bed, all that kind of stuff. And it takes up too much room too. So although I'm not starting on some actual crucial things, I think this is a nice thing for, ease of life. It'll make it easier to do the projects that I'm going to do this episode if I do this first. Now I'm going to do something a little controversial. So I'm not really a combat heavy guy, especially not in a single player world. So I'm going to get rid of the sword. I don't need it. I don't want to enchant it. It has 1,000 enchantments on it. That is too much time. I'm not going to do that. So instead, I'm going to swap this around, put my, my axe right there, and put my shovel over there, and boom, now I have 4 slots right here. The only thing I need to do now is just put some sharpness on this axe and get it, ready to actually fight and stuff, and then we'll be in a good spot. Before I do that, I will do something a little easier. I just need to get an ender chest so I can put all of these items that are handy, but not totally essential, so I can put them in like an ender chest. Luckily, I already made one, and we can put everything in there. And I think it would be nice to actually have more wood, more iron, and some fuel. Just plop this up here, and now look at all of this space. I mean, put on my armor. Oh my goodness gracious, what is that? What is that? I think like 50 spots? 60 maybe? That's a lot of space. Now I gotta somehow get some sharpness. So I went to the skeleton farm and used up all of my levels, trying to get some sharpness and efficiency books. By the way, if you didn't know I had a skeleton farm and you've seen some of this series already, watch episode 4. Anyways, I grinded skeletons and enchanted until I got the maxed out axe. I have a fistful of grapes in my mouth, and I just got this axe. I usually don't eat them by the fistful, but I decided to today. What do you guys eat them? At fistful or one at a time? Green or red? I don't know. I got the axe. Hey, now check this out. With this brand new spanking axe, I can go down to a little thing I made in between episodes, and I can mine these melons and pumpkins incredibly quick and efficiently. And now I'm gonna make some last minute trades before I tear down these guys' homes. Sorry! As I mine these houses down, I'm going to remember to keep in these beds and any like workstations so that these guys can still technically live. Honestly, it's a little sad tearing down a lot of these houses. I mean, I lived in here, I think, in one of my first nights, I think. And this is the house where I have my little bell contraption. It's honestly a huge shame. But this is boring, so I'm going to just do a time lapse and let you guys watch this happen quickly. Welcome to the time lapse. Eventually I'm going to be replacing all of these villager houses with like libraries or like a farm or something. So that's why I'm tearing all of these things out. I'm going to be starting on the stream today and eventually roads and stuff so that I can actually put in those new buildings. And it's just a little easier to get rid of all of these guys so I can actually visualize what I want to do. I didn't have it in me to break this guy down, but I did have it in me to break all of this down. It is a complete change of vibe around here. It's just I don't even know. It's just weird. After breaking all of these houses down and relocating everyone to this, low income housing apartment complex, I feel like I should clarify I'm not some sort of Reaganomics, upper class billionaire mindset kind of guy. Yeah, I'll be giving them houses eventually. I'll make like a suburb or something like that. Yeah, the next thing I'm going to do is just take out all these paths blocks and make them regular dirt. And that should clear things up a bit so I can actually visualize how I want to go about making this stream. Alright, there we go. No more paths, no more nothing. If someone were to come over here and see this entire thing, they probably wouldn't have thought that there was a village here. They probably just thought that I moved in everyone over here. But no. This used to be a bustling, grand town, and now it's just an apartment. I really don't want to say it, but I think it might be time to actually work on this stream. And as you can see, I kind of put down some fences earlier this week, kind of plotting out how I wanted to do the stream, and I'm not too sure if this is how I'm gonna go about doing it, but I think I might do it like this. Here's what I do know about streams. It's very random and kind of choppy, and it moves either way, side to side, and basically takes the path of least resistance. I think I'm a fan of this shape. It's got, a good amount of bends, and I think I'll alter the terrain a little bit to make these bends have some sort of, reason to them. I think now is time... What? Why are you chasing me? I think now is time to actually start terraforming this and getting a good stream in. First, I gotta kill this guy, I guess. I don't remember punching you, man. This is a perfect opportunity to test out my new axe. And that's pretty good. And another one's coming after me. I don't know what I'm doing. I think maybe I killed a villager and then now they just want to come after me for vengeance. Or revengeance. What? As I build this stream, I want to talk a little bit about a dilemma I've been facing relating to one of my art projects. Some background, my partner, Ponka, and I are both very artsy people. I'm a filmmaker, used to make comics, I like to watercolor, etc. Ponka is also very artsy and actually used to do freelance Photoshop jobs on Twitter for random companies for free. They impersonated some random dude and just did work for these companies just to practice photo editing. It's very strange. Anyways, we're both very artsy, so we naturally do art projects and crafts together. We've done the usual things like painting, watercolor, drawing, a little digital art like Photoshop. But about a year ago, we went a little crazy and did something kind of out of the ordinary. We made Muppets. From scratch, I will add. I had to make at least 3 for the segment on my school's TV show, which is another story entirely. But there was this huge learning curve to making these things. I spent about 5 hours with one of my friends who was also on the TV show, just trying to figure it out, but we couldn't. So Ponka and I got together and worked on it together. We made a total of 4 Muppets, which actually cost a bit of money. So I've been trying to offset that with Fiverr videos, which got into some pretty big YouTube videos. Anyways, the two of us started with these Muppets and continued to do more and more difficult artsy things. We went to the Renaissance Fair and made most of our clothes, or rather Ponca did. They're very good at sewing now. We recently bleached some black t-shirts, which turned out pretty cool, and we also made some Coraline dolls. Now, if you haven't seen Coraline, it's a creepy claymation movie, and in the movie there's these dolls with buttons for eyes, and that's what we tried to create, Coraline dolls of ourselves. So we used metal wiring and clay and paint and sewed the clothes together, and they turned out great. But I just have one problem. It's way too unsettling, especially in the dark. It's currently face down in a bag at the other side of my room. I could and probably should take it out so I can look at it more often and gawk at my creative abilities, but it is so creepy. My Muppet currently faces my bed. And that's a little creepy, but not even close to how creepy it would be to have this little doll of myself looking at me. I don't know what to do, and I'm worried that it's hearing me say these things and will attack me out of spite in my sleep. I'd recommend not making any artwork that's creepy unless you can store it very far away from where you live your everyday life. Alright, well here is the stream. As you can see, we got two little bridges. I don't know, it looks generally the same as it did over there. A couple bends, you can get a little bird's eye view too. I think it looks pretty cool. I'm honestly a very big fan of it. I will point out this torch spam and the random composters and the beds and workstations everywhere, I feel like take away from the beauty of this river, where you kind of can't just appreciate just this, because if you look up just a little bit, oh, it's ugly. So I do look forward to when, you know, we have more roads and houses and buildings and trees put up, because this will look a whole lot better. Another thing I want to point out is here's all the resources, and a little bit in here, from destroying all the houses and stuff. Dude, I'm kind of stacked on wood and stones and stuff now. Thank you, villagers. I didn't know if we were going to have enough time to do this in this episode, but we do. I'm going to make some trees. I'm not going to do trees everywhere. I think I'm just going to put some trees right here on the top of this thing, maybe some in the front, maybe some over here, and I'll keep it at that for now. I don't want to go too crazy, especially if I don't like how the trees turn out, but I am pretty excited because that's going to mean that this cave base will finally be finished. So I decided to take some inspiration from a national park, Voyageurs National Park. Voyageurs? I don't know. It's like Voyageurs National Park in, I believe it's northern Minnesota. I'll put some pictures up on the screen, but I really loved just the tree line they have there, the water and everything. It just looked very beautiful. I thought it would be cool to put in some of the trees that are native to that park in my build. So I'm going to be putting in at least 3 different types of trees. I'm going to be putting in the red pine, the aspen tree, and the jack pine. And I might put in some other trees if I think they would look cool. If I'm being honest, I definitely am a little scared to actually do this. See, I feel like I'm not too bad at terraforming, but I just don't think that I'm very great at making custom trees and stuff like that. So I hope you're ready to really see me struggle, make some trees, and hopefully it'll turn out well, but man, I am scared. So the first tree that I'm going to be building is the red pine, which kind of has a palish, reddish, orangish hue to it. And I figured that mud bricks, you know, some packed mud, jungle planks, and strip jungle wood would be a very nice texture. It was also very important to me for all of these pallets to have some walls, some fences, and some trapdoors that I could use. It's just nice to have different sized blocks that kind of don't stray away from the general look of the tree. So I'm just gonna start placing blocks and honestly just kind of hoping that they work. I am not a tree builder. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm hoping that maybe some leaves will improve this. There we go. You guys would tell me if it looked bad, right? I think it needs more leaves and maybe a little farther down. I'd argue that trees are probably one of the hardest things to make in Minecraft. Like, I'm trying to make the leaves sparse, but also bushy. I don't know. It's like, it feels impossible. I feel like those leaves made a world of difference. It's kind of hard to tell, but I feel like I'm pretty proud of this. I'm gonna move on to the next tree and then add in a couple more of these and hopefully it'll look good. The next tree on the list is the aspen tree, which basically just kind of looks like a birch tree. So I'm going to be using some diorite and some birch logs. Fitting. I'll grab some birch fences and make some diorite walls and diorite trapdoors. Birch trapdoors, sorry, I forgot. So aspen trees are a little more daunting to me, honestly. They're not quite straight up as this guy, which very much bugs me. Luckily, I'll be keeping it a little small because I don't really want it to compete with these trees. This mold is not looking too great. Let me get some leaves in here and hope that that improves some things. You know what? I really wanted to hate it, but I do not hate it. I would say I am borderline happy with this tree. So there we are, 2 trees down. Now I just gotta do one more. And that tree happens to be the jack pine. And as you would expect, because it's, you know, similar to the red pine because they're both pines, it is going to look pretty similar, but it's just going to use a different palette. For this one, I'm going to be using some mangrove wood, strip dark oak, and I think that'll be it. It's a little unfortunate because there's no real dark kind of brown texture wall, so I think I'm going to be having to use this mud because I think it's the closest. So I'm going to start this one off very similarly to this one, maybe a little less tall. I think I will go for more of a walled thing. That looks pretty good. Obviously got to put in a couple trapdoors. And in terms of the leaves, this guy kind of reminds me of I guess like a dagger. And boom, there we go. Now we got 3 different types of trees all in line and ready to be duplicated a bunch to create an actual forest around here. Before I do anything, I will say this is definitely subject to change. So if you have any suggestions on anything, please do tell me. I am not a IRL tree expert or a Minecraft tree expert, so I would really appreciate some help if you can offer me any. I'm going to do a little transition as I, get all of these added. So, ooh. And there we are. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I'm especially glad that I went for the variety of trees rather than just one. I think the biodiversity really makes my horrible tree look that much better. Unfortunately, now that these are done, that's going to be the end of the episode. Sorry. If this episode has felt a little off or a little rushed, it's because it was. I'm going on a flight tomorrow, and I've been working on this video very late at night so that I can get it done in time. Still though, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you've made it this far, you clearly like this content, so why not subscribe? Come on. It is one button, and once you've hit that one, what's one more? Hit the like. And after you hit the like, nothing is stopping you from writing a comment. Come on, for me. It's weekly content. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great week, and I will catch you next week with another episode. Okay, bye.